Welcome RSM friends and customers. My name is Claud Beltran. I'm the chef here at Baca's Kitchen in Pasadena, California. And hopefully you have all received your dinners by now and have taken everything out of the bags. We'll work on some other things later, but we want to talk about the steak right now. That's the kind of the centerpiece of the whole class. So we're starting out with about an 8 to 10 ounce prime New York. Hopefully you can see the beautiful marbling in here, which is what it's all about. If you're going to buy a steak without any fat in it, I would wait and not have steak that day. Just buy a steak that's fatty. That's what makes it taste good. That's what keeps it juicy, and that's what makes it soft and easy to eat. One of the important things about cooking proteins that you can do at home, and I'm able to do in catering, it's hard to do in a restaurant setting because we don't know what anybody's going to order, is you want to let this steak rest for at least 15 minutes outside of the refrigerator. Okay, and then we're going to let it rest for 15 minutes after we cook it in the pan. So I've had this steak out for 15 minutes. And we're going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little oil on both sides and then rub some garlic on it. Okay. I like those crunchy bits of garlic on the, once they're in the pan, and it makes it taste good. Okay. Salt and pepper, very important. Probably the most important ingredient thing that we use in the kitchen. We use kosher salt. We use Morton's kosher salt here. It's easier to handle. It's a larger flake, and make sure it look fancy and apply your salt. At what you think would be good for you, so that every little bite has a little bit of salt, and then some chopped black pepper. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and include a salt and pepper mix for you in your kit. So just in case you don't have kosher salt, you don't want to use iodized salt. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little 1 ounce that will be more than enough for here. Okay? So you're going to flip it over. And again, black pepper. Okay? And salt. Okay? So here you got this a nice even amount. I usually like to press it in. And now we get to the next exciting part, where we move to the pan. Before we move to going to the pan, this exact procedure that we're doing here right now, if you wanted to grill your steak by any means, it's a beautiful day today. Go ahead and let's go outside, fire up the grill, make sure it's hot, and you're going to follow the exact same procedure of what we're doing right now, but on a grill. The only difference would be that later on when we make the sauce, you're not going to get all the little crispy bits and things that are burnt in the pan that will make the great sauce. So you just have to make the sauce separate. Either way, you're fine. We're going to do a pan-seared steak today. So let's move over here to the oven side. All right, we're back over here on the hot side of the kitchen with a pan. Hopefully you have some kind of thick pan. Cast iron would be optimum. Or if something that you can get hot. One of the most common mistakes in fish cooking and steak cooking, and any cooking, is people don't get the pans hot enough. And hopefully you have gas, and you're not. If you're working with induction or electric, you can still get the pan hot. You can see I'm getting a little bit of smoke. We're going to do a little bit of canola oil. Okay, just barely enough here to coat the bottom. All right. That's just about right. And my pan is now smoking, so let's not put anything in the pan until it's smoking. All right? And we're going to add the steak. All right? And we're just going to kind of let it go here for a few minutes. I like to add a little butter. Helps caramelize the fat solids from the butter. Help caramelize the bottom side of the steak. Move the pan around a little bit. You should have a pretty high flame. The second you put the steak, a cold or hopefully room temperature steak, because we let it sit out for 15 minutes, you put a steak in a pan, it's going to cool the pan down, bring the temperature down. So then you might want to turn it back up a little bit after you just put the steak in the pan. We're gonna let it go, and we'll start looking for these little brown, crusty edges here along the bottom side of the steak. And then we're going to turn the steak 45 degrees, okay, on the same side. 45 degrees, doesn't matter left or right, doesn't matter.
Can we move it? I just want to get a video of no talking.
So after we've done our 45-degree turn, we should be ready. We should have a nice brown, crusty bottom. That's my favorite part of the steak, is that, you know, super crusty salt, pepper, garlic crust, and then a nice, chewy, beautifully medium rare middle. Okay, so let's flip it over. Nice, nice. You see all the pepper's still there. The garlic has blackened a little bit. Now, we obviously, the other part of cooking a steak is getting it to the right temperature. So, just a little trick. I will maybe tell you minutes, but I would probably say that these steaks are going to need, for medium rare, probably about 6-7 minutes in a 350-degree oven. We cook with convection here, where it's turning, you know, air around, so it's a little bit faster. But when you put the steak in, right here with your arm, without the hand, just regular hand here, okay, that's a rare steak. Okay, let's turn it 45 degrees because we're about that time now. Okay, so that's rare. I'm going to make a slight fist, and that's going to be medium rare. Okay, so it's just going to give just a little bit. Okay, you get that in the camera good? And then if we make a tight fist, okay, that will be well done. This works on every arm. Doesn't matter whether you're Popeye or olive oil. It doesn't matter. It's going to work. Okay? So now we have a char on both sides. Beautiful. And we're going to go into the oven. Okay, and some mushrooms. Chef, can I get a little whole grain mustard, please? See, that's the beauty of having such incredible chefs working with you. They actually know where the mustard is. Okay, so we're going to turn this around. We're going to gather up. We're going to cook the shallot. Save everything that was in your pan. Kind of a medium heat. I probably had a little high here. Then we're going to cook a little bit of garlic. Okay. Cook the garlic, and when you see that the shallots have wilted and are clear, we're ready. We're cooked. Okay. The third part of this process, we're going to deglaze the pan. Do not be afraid of this. It is going to flame up. If we pour the brandy, okay, I will included some brandy in there for you. You're going to tilt the pan forward, okay, and add it in here. Okay. So that's going to continue to remove all of the. Don't be afraid of that flame. It's not going to hurt you. And then we're going to add our sour cream. Okay. And a little bit of mustard. Spoon. Okay. Turn it to heat a little bit. And this is a very, very classic steak Diane sauce. I'm obviously much older than everybody on this Zoom call, so I remember seeing this being done live right next to me on the table. Okay. I have a little bit of brandy left. I'm going to add it in here. Okay, that's what we're looking for. We're probably going to add a little bit of water or stock into this just to thin it out. Okay, let that sit. And now we're going to do our green beans. Again, same thing with the pan. Make sure that the pan comes to a smoke. Okay. We're going to cook the shallots first. We're up here. Okay. Shallots. More oil and salt and pepper on both. Again, I think I'll give everybody enough salt and pepper to do both of these recipes here. It's the only thing that you need it for, or you can keep it as a souvenir suitable for, say, framing later on. These green beans have already been blanched in boiling water and salt, so you don't need to cook them through. We're just going to try to get a little crust on them. And right at the last, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. All right, ready. Done. We'll turn that on, and now we're ready to plate. All right, we're back over here with the plate. I made the Duchess potatoes for you, and I sent you a recipe. It's a very, very simple thing to do. It's mashed potatoes with egg. You could add chives. You could add a little bit of cheese. I went straight potato, and I really like to bring out the nutmeg flavor. Mashed potatoes and nutmeg taste great together. Piped out, and then thrown in the oven until you get this little caramelized outer edges. It's one of my favorite, and obviously we went on a very retro menu here with the spinach salad and the steak Diane sauce and things. So I like putting my sauce down on the plate on the bottom. So I'm gonna put my sauce here. Okay. And I think I'll use the green beans as the garnish. So we'll take the steak. You don't have to slice the steak. You could cut it in half. You could. I'm going to cut it here. These little bias things. We've got a nice medium rare. I can't wait to eat this. All right. You don't have to cut it if you don't want to. Okay. And I kind of would spread it out like that. This would just be something we would do in the restaurant. Okay. Pick it up with my knife. Okay. Yeah. And then garnish with these green beans. So I'm of course making the plate as I want the customer to look at it. We'll do a little parsley. Okay. So I'm doing the plates as you would look at it when you bring it to the table, but I'm going to turn it around.